guys, I feel like I always say this, long time no see. I do have a very good excuse though, however, for my absence on YouTube. I just got back yesterday from going overseas with Jeff. So we went over to the US and went and explored San Francisco. We spent lots of time at Disney World over in Florida, and then we just come back from Mexico. So yeah, we finished our trip up in Tulum, which was a really, really amazing experience. So I haven't obviously been in the country to share with you guys. Plus, before we left, obviously there's that whole let's clear out the fridge and pantry. We did dinnerly for like 3 weeks just so that we could make sure we didn't have any food left over before we left. So yeah, that's kind of why I haven't been here. So I did an online shop yesterday so that it was delivered this morning. So that's why it's a bit dark, because the sun still hasn't come up yet. Oh, got a little visitor from Schnitzel. Hey buddy. Yeah, so I did an online shop yesterday. It's already arrived this morning. So we spent about $250, and that will cover us for 5 dinners. And then we also have family coming over for dinner on Friday night. So there's plenty of food here to feed 8 adults. So yeah, there's quite a bit. You right, buddy? He's a little bit inquisitive. No. Off the table. Good boy. So in terms of what I am cooking this week, so tonight we're gonna do, actually coming back from like nice, beautiful 30+ degree weather every day to wearing now long sleeves, not fun. So there's a lot of wholesome meals that I'm cooking this week, a lot of carby meals, because who doesn't love carbs during colder weather? So I'll be making a lentil bolognese, a creamy pea pasta, a mushroom risotto, a Mediterranean orzo pasta bake. So, or orzo pasta, it is, right? Like an orzo bake. My dad gave us some eggplants that he grew, so I'll be putting that in there. What else am I making? Did I say mushroom risotto? I meant mushroom pasta if I did say mushroom risotto. A mushroom pasta and a risotto packed full of all different green vegetables. And then for when our family come over on Friday night, I'm going Mexican theme. I felt like it was only right after coming home from Mexico. So I'm going to do some chicken enchiladas. I'm going to do an avocado radish salad thing. I'm going to do some slow cooked beef and do it almost like a chili con carne type thing. And then I'm going to do some red rice, and we'll do some guacamole, some corn chips, and then for dessert, I'm just gonna do a lemon cheesecake. So yeah, that is everything that I'm cooking this week. In terms of breakfast things, we have heaps of bread in the freezer. So I think it's just gonna be a toast and porridge week. Plus I've bought some yogurts, and lunches is probably just gonna be soups. I've got lots of soup sachets, I guess they are, soup sachets. Soup sachets, yeah. So I'll just have those. So I've got a mix of like laksa, wonton noodle, chicken and noodle. Yeah, and so that will do me for lunches, and then Jeff will probably just have leftovers from dinner each night. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, I did say that I did an online shop. There are a few things that I couldn't get, so I still need to get celery, parsley. I didn't buy basil because I find that goes off really quickly. So I'll buy it on the day that I need it. And for the chicken enchiladas, I'm actually just gonna use the cooked chook. So there are things that I still need to buy. It was a bit annoying. I did my shop and then it was like, oh, these things are unavailable. So I wanted to get some broccolini, couldn't get it. So I swapped for broccoli, couldn't get it. So I had to buy a bag of frozen broccoli, which is a shame because this actually works out to be more expensive at the moment. So that kind of sucked, but that's to go into my risotto. The other thing that I wanted to buy was the Odd Bunch bag. I think it's like a 400-gram bag of spinach, but again, it came up as unavailable after I'd added 2 bags of it to my basket. Like I wanted a fair bit of spinach so I could chuck it into salads, pastas, smoothies, into my risotto, into the Mediterranean bake thing, into my pea pesto pasta. Like, I wanted to use it in quite a lot of things. So what I had to do is to save money, because I was obviously going to buy 800 grams and that was like $8, or I could buy half of that, 400 grams, for $9 if I bought fresh. So what I did was I bought one bag of fresh, and then for 95 cents, I've got a bag of frozen spinach. And this is what obviously I won't use for salads, but I will use it for my risotto and things like that. So just a tip to save money, frozen spinach, 95 cents, so much more cheaper than buying fresh. I also bought a bag of peas, which I probably should have done because I didn't realize we had a whole bag in the freezer already. But obviously frozen veggies don't go to waste. And then I've also got a bag of corn here, which I had run out of, and that I'm going to put into my red rice that I make. So typically with the red rice, I'm going to get some beans. So my dad has them in the garden, so I'll get him to bring over some of those. I'll do capsicum. I would typically use a hot sauce in there, but my family aren't very good with chili, so I've actually just bought a taco sauce. So hopefully that will do the trick, but we will see. Again, to try and save money, I've gone for as much of the odd bunch stuff as I possibly could. I was after about 6 red capsicums, and I was hedging my bets that maybe that's what they would send, but they haven't. So I've got a whole bag of green capsicums here. So they will just have to do. I will make use of them. There's quite a few in there, 2, 4, 6, 8, about 9 in that bag. So that's plenty. I will make use of that. And then I wanted 3 zucchinis for cooking this week across many different dishes. So I just thought, you know what, hey, let's just buy a bag. And I think that was $4.50 from memory. And that was for just under a kilo. So they actually look pretty good, and they're a pretty good size. I was worried because sometimes the odd bunch ones, you get 2 in the whole bag and they're like this big. And I understand that's the whole point of odd bunch, that they're odd. But for me, I'm like, I just want normal size zucchini. The other thing I got was some milk. Now, I would have bought the Dairy Farmers one for 2 reasons. Jeff prefers it. And 2, I had an offer for bonus points for everyday rewards. I added it to my basket, and it was one of those things that came up as unavailable, which for me is a bit of a faff. I don't really think that, surely. How could you run out of Dairy Farmers milk? Like, don't you get a new shipment every day? Anyway, it just annoyed me. So I saved 60 cents anyway by buying this one. And it will have to do. And then Chobani yogurts were on special, so I bought a few different ones. I'll go to mango, passion fruit. Am I gonna try and stack these again? No, I'm not. Okay, so passion fruit. Then I saw that they had some new ones, some no added sugar vanilla. So I got that one, and I got a no added sugar mixed berry. And I'm not gonna mention to Jeff that they've got no added sugar. Like, obviously it says very clearly no added sugar, but I think he thinks these have no added sugar. So I'm gonna see if he can tell the difference without me saying anything. And I also bought these ones. I don't think Jeff will, oh no, he'll eat these. 2 mango passion fruit of the no added sugar as well. And then I bought 1 tropical fruit, which I don't think Jeff is a big fan of. So I just got 1 of those. And then I got 2 strawberry. So I got 4, 8, I got 11. How annoying is that it's not an even number? I got some yogurts, which Jeff has for breakfast pretty much every morning. And these have a very good expiry date on them typically. So you can always stock up when they're half price. And then I bought some cream cheese for my cheesecake. Other things I bought was onions. So I have had troubles ordering onions online previously where there's like 1 rotten one in there. So I made a note this time to ask if they could please check to make sure that these were all firm and that there weren't a rotten one. I got a 2 kilo bag because it just worked out cheaper. Red onions, again, I bought a bag because it worked out cheaper, and I left the same note on that. I also bought garlic this way because I wanted to buy 2 bulbs. The price for 2 bulbs was the same as buying this as a 3-pack. So I just bought that because garlic won't go to waste. I've got some mini Roma tomatoes. So they're like the Solinado tomatoes, but cheaper. You can see there's a trend. I'm trying to save money. And then I bought, oh, these are a good firmness. I got a bag of avocados. So I didn't get the odd bunch. This was $8.50 for 5. Or I could have gotten odd bunch. I can't remember how much it was, but it was cheaper than $8.50 for 5. But I find the odd bunch avocados can be a waste of money because you get the avocado and it's like this big, but then the seed in it is like that big. So you don't actually get a lot of avocado. So I spent a bit extra on that and I thought, you know what? I would typically pay $2 for an avocado and go, that's a good price. So I thought if I'm getting 5 for $8.50, surely that kind of that to me makes sense. You know what I mean? That one's empty. The other thing I bought was some beef chuck. I wanted some gravy beef, which was on the Woolworths website, but not on the shopping app. So I've just swapped it out for gravy beef, which is what I'll use for my chili con carne. So I said, look, I was after about 1 kilo and it's pretty spot on. I've got 600 grams and 550. So that is what I will use for my slow cooked chili con carne. I've got some silken tofu, which is what I will use to make my creamy pea pesto pasta, to make the sauce. I bought some butter for the cheesecake, the base, like to make the base of the cheesecake. I bought 2 lots of sour cream, one so that it can go on the table as a condiment, and the other one because I'll use it for the enchiladas in the mixture that I make. So I bought 2 of those. I've got a thickened cream and that's for the cheesecake. So I've got full fat so that it actually whips. And then again, to save money, I've bought the full fat tasty cheese. So I don't typically like this cheese for 2 reasons. A, I don't like when it melts and all the oil comes to the top. And B, I sometimes find it doesn't sit well on my stomach. However, I'm gonna give it a go because Woolworths don't do a 1 kilo light tasty cheese. So yeah, I wanted a big lot of cheese because obviously I'm doing like Mexican food, and when you do enchiladas, you put cheese on top. Jeff eats a lot of cheese as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna give it a go. And if I like it, that's great. Cause I think this is only like $11 or $12 a block compared to say $16 when I buy the light shredded and then however much for the cheese slices. So again, I'm just trying to save a little bit of money where I can, and just see how we go with that. Then on this side, for my cheesecake base, I had added Scotch finger biscuits to my basket, but they were unavailable. So I've had to swap them out for a milk arrowroot. So I like why do I keep saying shortbread? A Scotch finger, because to me they have more of like I don't know what the flavor is, but it's got something just really nice about it. Whereas I think these can be a bit too plain. So what I'll do is I will use the melted butter, and I'm gonna add in probably some coconut to the biscuit base just to give it a bit more flavor. So yeah, that's my cheesecake. Then I've got a bunch of mint here. So my mint unfortunately died while I was away, so I've had to spend quite a bit on herbs this week. So I will need to go to the shops like Bunnings or something at some point and buy some new herbs. I've got some spring onions, which we'll use for our Mexican night. This is the bag of spinach that I bought to kind of go that half and half. I've got some coriander here, which obviously is for Mexican night. And then I've also got some brown mushrooms, which I will use in my mushroom pasta. Oh, and 1 green chili for Mexican night. I also bought some mixed lettuce just because I don't know, I really have discovered that I really like lettuce, like love it. And when I was overseas, I just was really craving lots of lettuce. So I bought that just to chuck on the side of my dinners. And then I bought a bag of grapes, which for me was controversial because I like to see them, because you know sometimes they can not look great or be really that small thing and you're like, you know they're gonna be sour. But these look pretty darn good. So I bought the grapes, and again, so I couldn't get celery after I wanted to buy a bunch, so I had to buy it like this, which sucks for two reasons. A, it's in plastic, and B, this cost $4.50 instead of being able to buy a whole bunch for like $3 something. So I needed a fair bit of celery this week. I wanted, I think, be able to use 6 sticks in all my cooking, so like 2 in each recipe. Yeah, so I couldn't not go without it. The other thing I just bought myself an unsweetened oat milk. I haven't tried this one before, but it does have 14% oats, whereas the one that I typically like, which is the Pure Harvest unsweetened milk, is 15% oats. So I thought, well, this was cheaper, it was on special, it's still organic, it's still oat milk, it's still unsweetened, and it's got close to the same amount of oats in it. So I'll give that one a go. That's more so just for smoothies and bits and pieces. And then the mushi peeled tomatoes were on special. Well, they're 400-gram tins of tomatoes were on special. So I bought 8 of those because I'll use a fair bit in like the orzo bake, in the Mexican stuff that I'm doing. And again, my hot tip is to go for the whole tomatoes and not the chopped, because Jamie Oliver reckons that they put better quality tomatoes in the whole ones compared to the chopped tin tomatoes. And also, I believe they use the Roma tomatoes instead of, like, say, a classic Aussie tomato. Obviously, if it comes from Italy, it's going to be Italian tomatoes, but yeah, just better quality, better tasting tomatoes. So yeah, I don't go cheap on tin tomatoes in terms of I don't buy the 60-cent ones, because to me, when you're making, say, a pasta, like if you're just doing a red sauce, you want like good quality because you're using minimal ingredients. You might be just doing onion, garlic, and some chili with a tin of tomatoes and pasta. You want the tomatoes to be really good. I've got some brown rice sachets for Jeff for work, for him to have brown rice and tuna. Some long grain rice for my red rice dish, and then some arborio rice for my risotto. Unfortunately, I thought Woolworths had their own brand of arborio rice, but I could be getting confused with Coles. So this cost me $7, but the other way I'm looking at it is I'm only going to use half a bag, which is $3.50 to give me 4 meals. So I guess from that perspective, it's still pretty affordable. Speaking of tuna, I don't know if Jeff's going to be happy that I've bought the Woolworths brand tuna. It was just the cheapest. It's still dolphin friendly. It's still caught without like fishing. It says it fishing aggregating devices. So I'm assuming, probably have to do some research, it's done without like those big, huge nets that kill and harm a lot of our wildlife. So yeah, I've bought 4 of those, and then I would typically buy Wheat Bix, but they weren't on special, and Jeff does like the protein cereal, so I asked if he would like a box because it was half price, and he was like, you know what, let's live a little. So I've got him that for breakfast for work. I also got 5 bananas. Now typically in my notes I would write the smallest bananas possible. Again, I'm trying to save money, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to remove that note. I got the ones that have a long time before they need to ripen instead of getting the ones that are ripe now. I didn't think they'd be this green though, but that's fine. But I thought, you know what, get big bananas. If you're paying 63 cents a banana, get big bananas and then just eat half a banana. So that's what I did. Another little tip. I've also got here a lettuce. In my notes, I said I would like a firm lettuce that's quite heavy. I wouldn't say it's firm. It's firm, but I would probably look for something firmer. But like, it's pretty darn big. Pretty darn big. So I think they did their best there. And then for the little avocado, I'm going to use that lettuce for the avocado salad I'm going to make with spring onions, some radish, and did I say spring onions as well? And then I think this is the last bag. Yeah, last bag. So in here, I've got some dried porcini mushrooms. So that is for my mushroom pasta. That was $6.25, obviously a little bit expensive, but I'm not putting any meat in that dish. So I'm like, really? You pay more for a 500-gram tray of mince. So that's fine. Got some caster sugar for my cheesecake. This is the taco sauce that I've bought for my red rice. So hopefully that tastes good. I thought about salsa, but I'm thinking the thickness of red sauce is quite thin. And I find those taco sauces are thinner than say salsa, so I'm going to try using that. I've got some mini tortillas that I will use for the enchilada bake. Basil pesto, 3 things here. First thing is I couldn't find a Woolworths brand one. Second thing is I would typically buy the Sackler free from one because it's vegan. And that wasn't on special and I wasn't going to pay $7 for a jar of pesto. Third thing is I compromised, there was a different one on special, went to the checkout, it wasn't available. So it was actually a happy coincidence because I didn't realize that Barilla do a vegan pesto. So yeah, I picked this one up and it was on special. It was still a bit more expensive than the original one I had in my basket. I think it was like $5 or something, but I like Barilla. I feel like it's a quality brand. Yeah, so I've bought that. Just a side note, I'm not vegan, but where I can, I tend to go for vegan options, just to limit like the amount of animals I'm impacting on, sort of thing. I've got my risotto or orzo, it's the same thing. Also love that Barilla have gotten rid of the plastic, so a bit more environmentally friendly. In saying this, as she pulls out a bag of plastic pasta, I've got some penne, which we will use for our lentil bolognese tonight. And then I bought some bucatini, which is like my favorite type of long format pasta or spaghetti. And that I will use for my creamy pea pasta. And that's what the pesto is going in. And then I needed some more chicken stock, so I've bought that. Just a side note, I thought Marcel did a vegan chicken stock and beef stock. If that is correct, can you please let me know in the comments, or if you know a brand that does vegan chicken or beef stock. I thought there was, but I could be imagining that. And the final thing I bought were these tortilla strips, which I didn't know Woolworths had their own brand of doing. So that's just to dip in some guacamole. Yeah, and that's everything I bought. I hope you enjoyed this haul. There was quite a bit. I feel like there was a lot of fun things I don't typically buy, maybe. But yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you could give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.